Hi everyone, Sabrina here from Scrappy Tales Crafts, and today I'm going to show you 3 cards that I made using this new stamp set by Not Too Shabby. It's called Spring is in the Air. So I'm going to start my first card off by taking the little chick with the umbrella, and I'm going to place it in my MISTI. I'm going to stamp it towards the center of this panel, a little bit more towards the top. I'm going to stamp that out twice. And then I'm going to clean off my stamp, and I'm going to stamp below the first chick that I stamped. I'm going to first ink it up, and then I'm going to take a scrap paper and stamp it onto that so that I can stamp the second generation onto the panel. And that is because I'm going to be creating a reflection, and I wanted the the chick in the water to be slightly lighter than the chick above it. So basically, I just want to make sure that the chick that's going to be in the reflection is going to be lighter. It's not going to be as harsh with those black lines as the chick that's going to be above the water. I'm going to also color the chick that's in the water lighter than the one that's going to be above the water. Again, just so that it's not as harsh. So for this chick that's going to be above water, I'm coloring it in with Y18, Y15, and Y13. And then the one that's going to be in the reflection, I'm going to eliminate that Y18 and have my Y15 be the darkest, Y13 my midtone, and then Y11 will be my highlight. So I'm basically just adding in a lighter marker and eliminating my darkest marker to make the chick that's in the reflection just slightly lighter than the one that's above it. And again, I just feel like that's a little less harsh. And to me, it looks more like a reflection when I make it just a little bit lighter than the one above it. So I'm going to color in this chick's beak. For the handle and the umbrella, I wanted it to be black, so I'm using W8 and W6. For the handle in the reflection, I'm going to use W6 and W4. So like I said, I'm just eliminating my darkest marker and then adding a lighter marker as my lightest marker. So for the boots, I'm going to color those in green. Here I'm going to add another lighter color. And then for my umbrella, I'm going to color it in pink and purple. If I were to do this card again, I think I would make a red umbrella and then take a white gel pen and add some polka dots to it. I think red would have popped out more than the pink and the purple, but I still like how this turned out. So for most of these images, I'm using 3 markers, but for the boots and the beak and the small images, I'm only using 2. So I'm going to show you how I created this reflection, and unfortunately I lost quite a bit of footage here, so I'm going to try to explain what I'm doing as best as I can. I'm first going to glue some masks over these chicks that I just colored, so I just stamped those onto some scrap paper, and I'm going to add a little bit of art glitter glue behind them, and I'm using my finger to remove some of that sticky because I don't want it to rip when I peel it off. You can use masking paper, but I don't have any. I still need to buy some. And then I'm taking another scrap piece of paper. I'm going to tape it to the back of my panel, and that's going to create the line between the puddle that I'm going to create and the sky. So to create the sky, I'm going to start ink blending some broken china. In the center, I'm going to add salty ocean, and then just around the edges, I'm going to add faded jeans. And I love adding faded jeans. It really makes the scene kind of become a night scene, or I was kind of going for a very rainy day. So for the reflection, I did the same thing. I just removed my mask, placed it over the chick that's above the water, and I just used the same markers. I first started with broken china, and then I went around the edges with salty ocean. That area was a little bit smaller, so I didn't add the faded jeans. You can see I also took a marker and I just added a line between the 2 chicks to sort of differentiate the water from the sky. And at first I was a little unsure if I should do that. I thought maybe the black line would be too harsh, but I'm really glad that I did do that. Like I said, I really think it helped to separate the sky from the water. So to make the water look even more like water, I'm going to add some ripples to it just using a white gel pen. Now, when I started to use my white gel pen, I realized that it's not working. I have ink in the pen, but it's just not coming out. So if you have any advice on that, please leave a comment down below. But I decided to use that pen and my Versamark ink pad to add some Versamark and basically have it be a white gel pen, but instead I'm going to add white embossing powder. White embossing powder is going to be much brighter white than the pen anyway, so I was pretty happy with this, and I was able to transfer the ink using the white gel pen pretty easily. And so I added a few ripples just with that pen, and now I'm going to heat set everything. I would recommend heat setting the background before you use any kind of embossing powder, because you can see I did have to use a paintbrush to wipe away some of that excess powder, and that's because my ink wasn't dry yet. So now I'm going to work on the sky above the chicks. So I die cut some clouds from my stash. I die cut them from some white, gray, and vellum cardstock. I'm just going to glue them on top of the chick, and then I'll flip that panel around and cut off the excess. And then, since this is a rainy scene, of course I had to add some raindrops. These raindrops are from a Lawn Fawn die set, and all the extra supplies I use will be linked down below. So I die cut these from some light blue cardstock, and I'm just going to arrange them around the scene. And then I'm going to attach them with my art glitter glue. And I will be adding these raindrops to all 3 of my cards. I think they added a really nice touch, and they kind of act like sequins to embellish a card. And now I'm going to stamp out my sentiment. I chose "I'm here, rain or shine." I stamped that with Versamark ink, and I stamped that on one of the clouds on my panel. And then I wanted to pop this up, so I'm going to use some foam from my stash. This is a blue color, so it kind of matched the scene. So I just added some ATG tape behind that ink blended panel, and then I'll cut around that foam. And then I'll add some more ATG tape and attach that to a yellow mat. I really felt like the yellow brought out the yellow in the chick nicely, and I really like how that looks. And then I'll just attach that to my card base, and that will complete card 1. Here's a close-up. I'm really happy with how that reflection turned out. So for card 2, I'm going to color in the rest of the images from the stamp set. I stamped a few of them twice because I'm going to color the next few images for my second and third card. So some of them I stamped twice, some I just stamped out once. I'm going to show you how I colored in the bunny. Since I already showed you the chick, I won't show you that again. But for the bunny, I colored it in with C4, C2, and C0. So it's going to be a gray bunny. And whenever I work with my Copics, I always start with my darkest marker. I map out the shadows. So in the case of this bunny, I'm going to have the highlight be in the center of its face. So I'm making sure to leave some white space towards the center of its face, and that way I can go over the whole thing with my lightest marker, and that will create my shading. For the ears on the bunny as well as the cheeks, I'm going to color those in pink. And then the handle of the umbrella I'm going to leave white, and then for the boots I'm going to color those yellow. I didn't bother to color in the umbrella since off camera I stamped the umbrella onto some pattern paper, and I will just fussy cut that out and glue it on top of the umbrella with the bunny. I'm going to color up a few of the other images from the stamp set now. I'll start with this rainbow, and I am coloring it in rainbow order, and the way I remember rainbow order is Roy G. Biv. I think I learned that when I was 7, but it always stuck with me. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Instead of violet, I don't like purple very much, so I decided to replace violet with pink. And I know pink is a shade of red, so technically it's not a part of the rainbow, but in my rainbows, it is a part. So, yes. All right, and then for each ray on the rainbow, I'm only going to use 2 markers. I'm going to add the darker color towards the base of the rainbow. And then for the watering can with the flowers, I think this image is really cute. I'm going to color in all the flowers pink. Again, I'm just using 2 colors here. These images are really small. I did stamp out all the stamped images with Memento Tuxedo Black. This is an alcohol-friendly ink, and it's also my favorite ink for Copic coloring. So this stamp set really got me in the mood for spring. We're in crazy times right now, so I'm trying to film more videos and get them uploaded faster in case you guys want to be entertained in your house. And I've been doing a lot of crafting lately. I'll admit business has been pretty slow for me. So I decided to focus a lot on my YouTube, so I have quite a bit of videos filmed that just need to have a voiceover done. Alright, so I did all the fussy cutting off camera. You can see those umbrellas that I stamped out on pattern paper. I'm going to glue them now onto the Chick and Bunny's umbrella. And I thought these umbrellas turned out really cute. I love paper piecing. I don't do it a lot on stamped images, but the sizes of the umbrellas worked out perfectly. And the pattern paper I used is by Picket. Again, that will be listed down below. So I wanted to show you guys that you can create your own rainbow without a die. So I took a bunch of scrap papers and I cut them to be 1/2-inch strips. And I left them a little bit long because I wasn't sure how long I wanted them to go on my panel. So I'm leaving them long and then I can just cut them off later. So again, I'm going to go in rainbow order and glue all these 1/2-inch strips to my white Nina panel. I believe this panel is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. So I will just trim off the rest. And then I'm going to glue some clouds. Now this is a border die by Trinity Stamps, and I cut it from vellum and white cardstock. So I'm going to glue down the vellum first. I'm making sure to only add glue to the bottom so that I can hide that glue that you can see through the vellum with this white cloud that I'm going to glue on top. I had a little bit left over, so I decided to just add this other white piece to the top of the rainbow. So the rainbow is just going to peek out in between the clouds, which I think is really cute. So I'll trim off the excess, and then I'm going to take my fussy cut images and just create a scene with them. I'm going to add my bunny to the bottom right corner, and then I'll have the chick on the vellum cloud. I decided to add a few small clouds to the rainbow. I'm also using some vellum clouds behind the white ones. And then off camera I die cut this friend. I have no idea where I got this die. I think I was gifted this die and I don't have the packaging for it, so I can't tell you where this is from, but I die cut it 3 times from heavyweight white cardstock. Going to layer them together to just make this word die more substantial and have it pop out a little bit more. And then on top of the 3 die cut white friends, I'm going to glue down a pink friend. I needed to complete my rainbow with a little bit of pink. And then I'm going to take the Hello stamp from the stamp set. I'll stamp that out with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I'm going to stamp it above where I plan to glue the friend, so it says Hello Friend. I added some foam tape behind my bunny and chick, and then I'll just pop them up over the clouds. And then I'm going to take those raindrops that I die cut out earlier from the Lawn Fawn die, and I'll just add some art glitter glue and attach those raindrops around my rainbow. Okay, and then I wanted to attach this panel onto that same pattern paper I used for the bunny's umbrella. Again, this is a Picket paper pad. that I'm using. And then I'll just attach the whole thing onto my card base. And then just to finish this card off, I'm going to take some Wink of Stella shimmer pen and go over the bunny, chick, and the friend die cut word, as well as the raindrops to add just a little bit of shimmer. And that will complete my second card. I love how that rainbow turned out. Here's a close-up. For my final card, I'm going to create a slimline card. So I die cut a stitch rectangle die from Trinity Stamps. This die set is a part of their Slimline series, so there's some stitching around the rectangle. I'm taking whatever's left over on my Picket Fence Studio blender brush to add a little bit of blue to create a sky. And then I die cut the Trinity Stamps border die. This grass also comes with the clouds that I used for card 2. So you get both of those borders in the same die set. I really love this die set. So I die cut the grass from 3 different shades of green cardstock. I'm going to adhere the lightest of the green grasses onto the bottom of the panel with 2 layers of foam tape. So this is a double mounted foam tape. And then above where it overlaps the medium shade of green, I added a single layer of foam tape. And then for the medium shade, I attached it to the panel with 1 layer of foam tape. And then the dark green grass, I just adhered directly onto the panel. So I wanted to add some fences. Here I'm just taking my fussy cut images and I'm arranging them. You can see I'm going to move it around quite a bit to try to figure out what I want this to look like. At the top of the sky, you can see I added a sun, and that sun is from Summertime Buddies. I actually had a few of these left over from my Summertime Buddies video, so I decided to put it to good use and add it to this card. I also had some leftover clouds from the last card, so I will use those on the top of my panel. Again, I'm going to use the vellum layer and then the white layer on top. I thought about using that umbrella and adding some flowers inside it, but I wasn't in love with that look. I really wanted to use the watering can instead. So here you can see I'm fussing around with this for quite a bit, trying to figure out what I want this to look like. And that fence die that I used in between the grass, I'm not sure where I got that from either. If I can find it, I will try to link it. Or I will link an alternative, which sometimes I have to do because a lot of my dies are really old, and I'm thinking that this one is too. So I wanted to tuck in some flowers behind that fence. And I like how this arrangement looks, so I'm going to pop up my chick with some foam tape. I'll glue down the watering can with art glitter glue. I like to use foam tape and regular glue just for some interesting dimension. And I really love making slimline cards because of all the dimension you can get by layering up. In this case, the grass added some interesting dimension to the card. I'm going to glue down the vellum clouds first. Again, I'm only going to add glue towards the top of that so that I can hide the glue with this white layer that I'm adding right now. I'll trim off the rest. And then I'm going to stamp out my sentiment. I did this with the Summertime Buddies stamp set. I stamped out the sentiment inside the sun. So I did the same thing with the Spring is in the Air stamp set. And I stamped out Spring is in the Air inside that sun. So I'm going to glue down some more raindrops below that sun. I know it wouldn't really make sense for it to be raining on a sunny day, but I added a rainbow, so it did kind of make sense. I'm going to tuck that rainbow behind that white fence in a second here. I'll just glue my last few raindrops. Then I really felt like that area between the bunny and the clouds was just a little bit bare, so I thought about putting the rainbow in the sky where it would make a little bit more sense, but I liked how the rainbow looked behind the fence, so I just glued it and called it done. I love that you can use pretty much every image from a stamp set to create a slimline card. Alright, so I'm going to mat this panel with some light pink cardstock, and again, I cut that panel from the same Trinity Stamp Stitch Rectangle die set, and then I'll just attach that to my Slimline card, and that's going to complete card number 3. I'm going to show you the other 2 cards that I created in today's video. Let me know which card was your favorite, and if you haven't yet already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm almost at 2,500 subscribers, and there will be a giveaway. I'm thinking for my 3,000 subscriber when I reach that milestone. So yeah, if you haven't yet already, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!